Outside of the Home Alone movies, most movie criminals are smart, sophisticated, and ever so cunning and dangerous. But in the real world, this simply isn't the case, as our video is about to prove unequivocally. We've got animals held hostage, weird stuff involving pee, and an internet crime that most of us probably commit on a daily basis. Intrigued? Of course you are! So, let's delve right in to the 7 strangest crimes and criminals. Number 7. A meaty murder. In 2016, in the Spanish city of Malaga, a British homeless man, Stephen Alford, was found half-naked, asphyxiated, and tied to a bench close to the airport. This crime was weird and distressing enough already, but it became a whole lot stranger when police discovered his naked buttocks were covered in ham and his genitals had been placed inside a tuna can. Police now know that Mr. Alford died while choking on his own vomit, but they are yet to determine whether being tied and abused played a role in his death, or the ham and tuna accessories were merely a cruel prank played by someone who found his body. At the time of writing, we still don't know. At 6. A random ransom. Brian Paul Smith was a strange man with a checkered criminal past. He burgled homes, he stole people's husky dogs, and on one occasion when the police came to speak to him, they found a 14-year-old child hidden in his wardrobe. So, if you were looking for someone to take care of your pet, you'd think this guy would be bottom of the list. But someone didn't think so. In 2012, Smith was asked to babysit a pet spider for a friend. But when that friend asked for the spider back, Smith had seemingly become rather attached to it, although not so attached he couldn't threaten its life. Smith at first demanded $100 for its safe return, but then asked for both $100 and to be allowed to keep the spider for himself. Finally, when his extortion victim didn't pay up, Smith threatened to shoot the spider if his demands weren't met. The spider's owner contacted police, and after they presumably tested the man for alcohol and drugs, the cops took the man's story seriously and arrested Brian Paul Smith. He was given 40 months detention for his laundry list of crimes. So let this be a lesson to any of you thinking of taking a spider hostage in the future. 5. No slip-ups. If you're going to rob a convenience store, how would you do it? Most criminals would probably put on a mask, sneak in quietly when nobody's around, and stick up the teller with a pistol until they emptied the cash drawer. It's simple, clean, and effective, right? Well, one Connecticut criminal thought he'd do things his own way. So let's take you step by step through this genius's methods. Step 1. Wait until convenience store closes. Step 2. Smash through the door with a station wagon. Step 3. Steal a banana. Step 4. Peel the banana. Step 5. Eat the banana in front of a live CCTV camera with no mask on. Step 6. Go home and enjoy the fruits of your labors. It seems the criminals of Newington, Connecticut aren't the sharpest tools in the shed, but neither are the police, because somehow, nearly 3 years later, they've still not caught this guy. Number 4. Blind look. We've all heard stories of the local pervert in a trench coat who likes nothing better than to show off his dingus to the world. But when these weirdos whip out their junk to complete strangers, they do so because they get off on the illegality and naughtiness of their crimes. The look of horror on your victim's face, the attempts to block out the sight of your manhood, the exhilaration of showing your willy to someone who doesn't want to see it. So why then did one unidentified Philadelphia man expose his penis to a blind woman? Before you ask, yes, he almost certainly knew his victim couldn't see, as he whopped out his wanger in a bookstore specifically for the blind. And while the incident was caught on CCTV and seen by store employees, they were left in no doubt that the pervert's target was this one sightless woman. Pennsylvania police have yet to trace this strange individual, but if I were a betting man, I'd say his next crime will take place in a store for the hearing impaired, as he tries to talk dirty to a deaf guy. Oh, and speaking of talking dirty, in at 3, there's a fire in my pants. Have you got an emergency? Then call 911 straight away, unless that emergency is in your pants, and it's a sexy kind of emergency. As in this case, you'd be better off phoning one of those chat lines you see advertised on late-night TV, which I definitely know nothing about. But if you're Oklahoma resident Clyde Hobbs, this advice just doesn't wash, as on numerous occasions, he's been recorded calling the 911 emergency hotline and trying to talk dirty to the operators. The 72-year-old retiree has been arrested multiple times for this crime since 2007. And on one occasion, he did this 17 times in just one day. I mean, that's gross, but it's still pretty impressive. Most old guys get tired playing chess in the park, and this old dude's jacking it more time than I do in a month. Good for you, old-timer. Good for you. Number 2. You're in trouble. We've got a double whammy of P-based crimes for you here. First comes the tale of Raymond Charles Foley, who was caught on security cameras peeing on the chairs of attractive female colleagues. Marking your territory works for animals, why not people? But even this isn't as gross as what 41-year-old cab driver Toshiko Nishi was caught doing. Nishi was known to offer his female taxi passengers crackers whenever they rode with him. But unbeknownst to them, these crackers were laced with diuretics which make you need to urinate really badly. When the ladies asked Mr. Nishi to pull over, he refused, demanding they relieve themselves on the back seat of his cab. And for years, he videotaped his poor victims squirming and degrading themselves for his own sick pleasure. So the next time you're clenching your pee hole in line for the bathroom, just keep an eye out for middle-aged Japanese cab drivers. And at number 1, good versus evil. There were a few options for the final entry in this list of weird crimes and strange criminals. I read about a guy who offered women money to put Swiss cheese on his crotch, a Japanese dude who committed drive-by urine attacks, and another Japanese man couldn't stop squirting young women with mayonnaise. But this next crime takes top spot for the simple fact that it involves memes, the Turkish president, and Gollum from Lord of the Rings. In 2015, a Turkish doctor was accused of sharing a viral post which compared the Turkish head of state to the fictional character of Gollum. And over several months, a panel of experts were convened to examine whether this amounted to insulting the president, which is a crime in Turkey. These experts genuinely had to watch Lord of the Rings to decide whether Gollum is evil, whether he's misunderstood, or if the character in the meme was actually his good half, Sméagol. Director Peter Jackson even got involved by stating for the record that Sméagol was lovable, joyful, and sweet. However, after much deliberation, the court announced that yes, he was evil, that the comparison was an insult, and that the publishing of the meme amounted to a crime. The good but unfortunate doctor was given a year-long suspended prison sentence and a loss of parental custody, which may sound harsh, but was in reality a pretty light punishment compared to the 4-year incarcerations often handed out. President Erdogan is notoriously a pretty thin-skinned individual, especially since the attempted coup in Turkey, which he is suspected to have staged. But can you imagine if our own rulers were so butthurt at criticism that they too demanded prison sentences for insulting portrayals of their character? Why, that'd mean Alec Baldwin could face prison for his depiction of Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live. Actually, I'm fine with that. I hate Alec Baldwin. So that's our list. Would you like to learn about more strange and weird criminals? Then why not sit down and watch our recent video on the 7 most evil kids in history? You don't have to sit down and watch it. You could stand up, Or maybe lay down. I don't care. Just watch it.